lose hope in getting even one of them out alive.
Did you hear about the soccer team stuck in a cave in Thailand?
No. Did they all die?
You sure we're all good with that sedation business?
We have no choice. It's either this or there's no dying.
Not all these boys might make it home.
It's a story of heroism and sacrifice that has captivated the whole world.
Tom, good morning. Jeff in Las Vegas. You're in Bangkok right now. Technology's amazing, isn't it?
Hey, Jeff. Yeah, I love your backdrop, by the way. That's really cool.
I had to do it up special, man. What an incredible film. Congratulations. Just an amazing story. And you just did a perfect job for conveying it. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
You know, one of the most sensational news events of the 21st century, the rescue of 12 young Thai footballers and their coach from a flooded cave in Northern Ireland. It drew attention of the world. I can see how producers and directors were drawn to this story. So tell me about the moment you decided that you wanted to be first and you had to tell the story.
Well, I think a slip of the tongue there. You said Northern Ireland. Do you mean Northern Thailand?
I meant Northern Thailand. Yes, it's 6 in the morning here in Las Vegas. Sorry about that. Yes.
Yeah. So, I was actually in Ireland at the time. I watched it unfold on the news like everyone else on the planet. And, I just thought to myself, what if those are my kids? I have 2 teenage boys, and I thought to myself, I'd be the first one to go out there and try and see what was going on, see if I could get them out. So for me, it was a very emotional experience, actually, just even watching it on the news. My mother's from Chiang Mai in the north of Thailand, so I know that part of the country quite well. And I'd actually been to that cave before as a kid, so I kind of knew, I knew what we were talking about. But the idea that these kids are in there for 18 days and that it took a multinational team to get them out was, for me, it said, movie all over it before I even had thought about making a movie. Everyone else had decided they were going to make one, and there was maybe a dozen projects announced, like shortly after the rescue. I think before the kids were even out of the cave, someone had said, they were going to make a movie about it, which I thought was a little crass. But I never thought I'd be the first one to actually make a film about it, let alone, come out alongside other films about the same story. So it was an immense privilege for me to be able to tell this story and to tell it the way I wanted to.
There was a rush by other studios to put into production their version of Cave Rescue. Did you have to remain focused on your vision? And your story is dedicated to authenticity, isn't it?
Yeah, I wanted to tell, a story about the volunteer spirit of the rescue. And I think it's actually quite hard as a filmmaker when you're making a film about something that everyone knows about or seemingly knows about, because they all have their own idea about what the film should be, what the story should be. And I had to really focus with kind of almost blinkered vision, what it was I was trying to do and the way that I wanted to tell this story, which, as you know, is from a kind of first person's perspective of some of the rescue volunteers that basically went to the cave site of their own free will and decided to help these kids get out.
Some of the rescuers from the 2018 Cave Rescue mission play themselves in the film, don't they? Did you have to build an atmosphere of trust? That had to be crucial.
I mean, of course, I've got, not only do I have some of the cave rescue divers, but I've got other volunteers involved in the rescue, like the pump guy who you see in the beginning of the film, who brought his own water pumps to try and help get the water out of the cave. Now, those people, I mean, they were just regular civilians. They were not told to be there. They went, as I said, they went of their own free will. And this guy drove 1,000 kilometers to the cave site just to try and help, not even knowing that he would get in or not to the rescue area. And of course, as it plays out in the film, you can see that he was just selfless, and the lengths to which people would go to help in this ordeal and to contribute to the mission. I think is the film gives a real message of hope, if you like, because I think especially it was kind of pre-COVID, remember? So before the world came together for COVID, they had come together for the Thai Cave Rescue.
Was it a challenge to recreate the wet and black environment of the rescue? I mean, you can't fake out an audience with a Hollywood set. So was it a mixture of set and on location, or how did you pull that off?
Absolutely, Jeff. We were using a combination of real caves with, real water caves, which had lots of creepy crawlies and snakes and spiders and other miscellaneous dangers in them. And we also had the safety of a film set where we'd actually constructed a part of our cave tunnels over an Olympic-sized swimming pool. So I found an abandoned pool in Bangkok here in the city, and I decided that we'd build our cave on top of it so that we could have water at any level whenever we needed it. And that was good for the safety of the cast and crew. You know, we're working with children a lot of the time, you know, working in very difficult conditions because you're filming underwater. And I wanted it to be authentic. So a lot of those scenes that are set in the cave tunnel, they're just hit by the headlamp torches. You know, you can't see a lot of what's going on because the water is very murky. And I wanted to stay true to what that would have been like for the divers. And they told me themselves that it was like swimming through a pint of Guinness, as Jim puts it. You know, it wasn't like these, you know, if it was a James Cameron movie, maybe the water would be blue and you'd be able to see clearly all the divers and their actions. But I wanted to be a little bit more claustrophobic about it because that's exactly what it would have felt like.
Yeah, because I don't suffer from claustrophobia, but you experienced that during the movie. Did the cast get anxious during the production?
You know, that was the great thing about my cast, is that a lot of them were real cave divers. So they you know, they weren't prone to anxiety attacks, or they didn't have to panic when they're in the water because they knew exactly what they were doing. In fact, they were calmest when they were in the water, you know, with their wetsuits on and with the diving gear on. That was the easy bit for them. The hard part was actually trying to do any acting. And I said to them, listen, guys, you don't need to act anything because I can tell you that, you know, you are just you're good as you are, and you just have to recreate what you did and show me what you guys did. So a lot of the time they were acting as consultants. They were telling me, no, actually it was like this, Tom, not like that. So it was a real privilege to work with those guys.
And finally today, Tom, you come from a Thai heritage. Was it foremost that this story came from a Thai production, gives your version an edge and a sense of national pride, considering the outcome of the rescue?
Absolutely, not just for me, Jeff, but also for my many collaborators on this project. There are a lot of Thai crew involved in this film, and you know, I've been working in Thailand for nearly 15 years now, so I'm used to working there. I speak the language, and for me, it was very important that I balance the two sides of the story. So you got on the one side the foreign rescuers, if you like, the people who came from all over the planet, and then you just have the local people, the people who believe in the spirit world, just as if they're living in the same room as us. And you have the beliefs of the local populace regarding the Princess Nang Non, who I bring into the film, and the legend of the mountain. And I think that that's very important for people to understand that. And maybe other versions, I haven't seen the mega budget version of this story yet, but I don't know how much they touch on that. But it was really important for me that we had that in this film.
Well, Tom, congratulations on an incredible story, and it stays with you. It really does. It's just an amazing story. So thank you so much for joining me today, and best of luck with the film. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jeff.